All right, dudes. Well, thanks so much, Josh and Bobby, for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it. Like we were talking about before the jump, you guys got a lot of irons in the fire right now with Halloween, and it's been fun to see just this first half of the year between some new blood and some old blood that you guys have reworked and reimagined, like what you guys are doing in the Halloween camp. So thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You're welcome. Well, where do you want to start with the new ones, or do you want to start with the reimagined and reworked ones? Because on June 2nd, well, let's start with the reimagined and reworked ones. So June 2nd, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like 3 years since Burnout and Meadows came out, and you guys did like a compilation EP where you did a reworked and reimagined version of those
Yeah.
songs. And they were really cool. The piano on the Meadows one I really dug, man, because I got a chance actually at State Fest to see Minerva, man. So just starting there, like what was that process like and that decision like to revisit these? Because I know over the years bands will often do like acoustic versions of songs or like stripped down versions. Um, but it was cool to see you guys do like reimagined and reworked versions of them. Like, how much fun was it to revisit these?
It was a lot of fun, honestly. And it was cool because, when we first wrote Burnt Out and Meadows, we were more kind of in like a leaning of pop punk and like kind of like that style of emo. And that's never really the band that we wanted to be, but it was what we had at the moment. And so getting to rework those two songs was very special for me, personally. And I know like Josh and I had a ball just like bringing those two to a place that we can like say we're proud of and like really add to the discography of like everything. Um, and then, just like we did with the Upside of Hell, with What the Hell and Upside Down, we wanted to do reimagined versions of those. And we could always do an acoustic song, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we really just wanted to like have fun and not put ourselves in a box. And so, you know, Josh had the idea to like really bring in like really pretty piano and really just like strip it down to its bare bones. And then I was like, okay, Josh, I have an idea for Burnt Out, and I don't know how this is gonna go. But I was like, I showed him like the synth pop stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go." So it was really cool, very collaborative.
Yeah, it was pretty fun being able to do that. The funny thing is we we did the Upside of Hell just because we had like lineup changes and we kind of reinvented what we were doing sound wise in regards to like regular like what Hollow Wake is sounding like or like what we are kind of taking inspiration from. And so we couldn't really do live like the old versions of What the Hell Upside Down. So like last year we decided why don't we just we're working with this producer and we had basically already recorded everything. So it was really easy to just, do those and like add him into like his quota of what he was already doing. So we were like, well, we all kind of want it to sound the same and like this is all going to come out. So we were just like, okay, let's keep going. And we said, well, the 3 year anniversary worked, so let's just do it again with Burnt Out and Meadows. But ironically, Bobby talked about the piano thing. Originally, the whole Meadows reimagined just piano with Bobby was supposed to be What the Hell reimagined,
Yeah,
and we ended up not doing that. And Bobby was like, "Let's revisit it," and I was like, I'm here for it." So we revisited it, and he connected, like you said, with Minerva, and I don't remember if it was at Stayfest. It might have been before that, or like right after it, or in it, and it just kind of eventually led to that working out. So yeah,
yeah. Matt Minerva. So I, he's a very talented musician, but he approached me and he wanted screaming lessons, and so I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And so we were able to talk about like him in a way, like writing the melody and the piano of Meadows to what the you know song itself would sound like, which I he was really stoked for, really down, and so I've been working with Matt. I don't know, maybe like half a year now or so, but yeah, really cool guy and amazing pianist. So I was like, this is the perfect guy to like, recreate this.
Yeah, they turned out awesome, man. And like I remember seeing their set at State Fest and like between like there was like rap vocals mixed in there, there was melodies, the drumming. I was like, dude, like all those dudes were so talented on their instruments. So yeah, it was really cool. And shout out to the video, man. Like the just like that white background, the piano, the singing, it really kind of added to like that stripped down feel, man. I feel like you guys pulled that off visually for the video as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew I wanted a video for it because, not only is it a really pretty song and it's a little bit out the gate from or out of the box from like our normal stuff, but also because, Matt was involved. I was like, let's do a like music video, nothing like too complex or anything, but just like strip it down to its bare bones and just like the song is. And yeah, so like white background and just him and I performing it essentially.
It's crazy how fast time flies too, because I think it's almost 3 years ago the first time I saw Hollow Wake down in Murfreesboro. Um, I think that was like 20, yeah, it was like 2023. I think it was like a Thursday night show maybe. Um, and then I can't remember if that was before or after Zacapalooza, because actually I think Zacapalooza might have been before that. I think they might have been both August, but in any event, yeah, 3 years ago was really when I was starting to dabble more into like the local music scene. And it's crazy how at Zacapalooza, it's like you guys are there, Sleep Nation, like so many awesome bands. And that was kind of like my crash course into just like how awesome the local music scene is. And in that time, like being able to get to know you guys more, Jacqueline, um, and really, I think just like lyrically what you guys do and like the theme of this show, obviously what Jacqueline does with her voice and mental health songwriter nights, like it's been really cool, man. It's been fun over these last few years to get to know all you guys so much better. And what I really like too, Bobby and Josh, is like the local music scene seems to be at least outside looking in as a podcaster, like pretty collaborative and supportive, at least the artists that I've gotten a chance to talk to. Like, what has it been like for you guys, obviously in a city like Nashville, to have like not only so much talent here, but to have the kind of support? Because outside looking in, it seems pretty supportive anyway.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely very supportive in its own right and in its own way. Of course, it depends on who you talk to and everything, but like most everyone here is either chasing something creatively or as a musician or photographer or videographer or all the above. You can literally throw a stone like 3 feet and hit somebody and be like, what do you do? And they're like, yeah, I create stuff. And you're like, no way, me too. So it's definitely the perfect place to find collaboration and such. And just like-mindedness, I think too. A lot of people that I've come in contact with who, may not listen to like metalcore necessarily, but they are like, you guys really rock and your music is really awesome and it speaks to me. That shines a lot of light on the collaborative like nature and heart of Nashville too, is just because you may not like jive with maybe their genre or whatever, like the people themselves are really cool and you can still like find that kind of connection.
Yeah, there's like a lot of cool people in the Nashville area, and the collaboration gets at times a little overwhelming because there was, I think, just for instance, we had a show in February with a band from out of town. I think they were either starting or it was like the second date of their tour. I can't really remember. And we played that show. The guys were super nice, and the turnout actually was really fun. We were excited about that, and we met some people that happened to be in, you know, realistically kind of brand new bands that had just formed. But we met them at that show, and they were like, "You guys are really great." And we like connected, exchanged emails and Instagrams and like phone numbers and such. And I still talk to them uh pretty regularly, and they were one of them. They're both in bands actually. It's like a a husband and a wife. They're in two separate bands, and they're both really good. Um, but we thought it was really funny because one of them was like, "Yeah, we want to do a show in April," and it was like basically 2 days after that show. And I mean, I was down for it, but the timing, I think around that time, Bobby was like super busy in April, if I remember correctly. He had like so much work stuff and he was out of town, and then I was out of town. I actually in April, the band met once,
Hmm.
like barely. I mean, it was almost like an hour. It was really weird. Like our Hollow Wake did, but the way to collaborate is just it sometimes it gets overwhelming because we everyone has lives and stuff, but nevertheless it always gets fun. So there is that fun, but also like, oh my gosh, who do we do something with this month or that month, or are we able to? Or are we stacking ourselves too much? So it just gets a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yep. And one last thing I'll say about that is not to the people that Josh was talking about, and not really a whole lot of people that I was like thinking in my brain, but there is a nature in Nashville too, where it's just like you scratch my back, I scratch your back, which it's fair enough, but if the juice isn't really worth the squeeze, you can find some people who are trying to like ride your like coattails, and Hollow Wake has grinded for a really long time. And so where we're at as a band right now, we're super proud of and just like really stoked for the future. Um, and so we kind of have to like, toe that line of like, do they actually want to like collab and like work with us, or is there like a different intent involved and stuff? And it's just really, protecting the inner core and like the foundation of the band as well. So it's murky sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that, in terms of like, yeah, like collabing with people because they want to work together and they love what you do, or people who see like, oh, if they're getting this show or this show, then maybe we could but yeah, I like the energy of the shows that I've been to has been really cool, and it's cool to see like I don't know, just like so many people who are creatively uh trying to like, find their voice and own their craft, you know what I mean? Um and it's just, yeah, it's just crazy, like thinking about time, like in the 3 years that I've really kind of dipped my toes in, just like all the awesome people that I've been able to meet, including you guys. And this year too, I'm trying to remember which one was the first one. I want to say was it Skin and Bones? Um, but in terms of the reach of like the new songs that you guys have done, man, that one even reached this dude. He goes by Hill, and like I saw that I'm like, dude, that's so cool that it hit him. Because I had him on the show, gosh, probably like back in 2020. Um, so out the gate, man, like that one I really enjoyed. I thought like the chorus on that was really great, like the melody and the production of it, like the way it sounded. Um, Same with like Afraid and RIP. Like I felt like it feels like there was a shift. I don't know, maybe it's just my ear, but it feels like there was a shift in like either like production, mixing, mastering, like at least that I noticed. But shout out to Doug, man. He's a good dude. And when I saw that it reached him and like his playlists and stuff, I was like, oh, this is pretty sick, man. Like it's like 6 degrees of separation. But can you guys kind of talk about sonically? Because I feel like there is like a sonic shift, at least that I felt with like the new stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, the songs that we're coming out with now are wholeheartedly what like we want to sound like as a Hollow Wake. Um, not to say that the other songs we came out with before were not, but like we definitely wanted to take our time writing, take our time, producing, really taking what we learned from A Season to Bloom and just like taking it to the max. And yeah, we also wanted to just come out swinging at the beginning of the year with Skin and Bones, and we also released Like Heroin as well. But yeah, we just feel like Josh and I have been in a band off and on for a while now, and so we know each other really well with writing, and so we've gotten to the point where we're like really comfortable with each other and being like, you have better in you. Like Josh will tell me that about certain lyrics I come up with, or even like how I'm singing. He's like, try it like this. And it's, with Josh and I, it's super collaborative. And we definitely wanted to take a lot of the influences that we listen to and then not just like create copies of them, but be like, what does Hollow Wake mean to us? And like, what does it sound like? And yeah, so we're stoked on how people have been talking about the new stuff. There is a sonic shift for sure. Um, Getting a lot more like heavier, bigger breakdowns. And that's the stuff that like Josh and I like to write and I would say listen to for the most part. But and Josh can speak to this too. So
Yeah, it was definitely a shift. I mean, ironically, the first song was Skin and Bones. The way we released that was actually kind of fun. We just kind of put up a pre-save and we didn't tell anybody that there was a second song attached because the last thing we released that was original, I mean it's original. It was the reworked. It was the Upside of Hell, and we but it was before that there was just the instrumental of Season the Bloom, and then it was Season the Bloom before that. So there wasn't really like technically original, like brand new, never been heard like stuff. So we said, yeah, we're sorry for taking this long on this, so let's just add another song to it. And yeah, here you go. So when people like opened it, we wanted it to be a surprise, and that was kind of fun to just be able to do that. And that was like kind of the biggest thing, was just kind of doing things on our own terms this time. And not backtracking or doing anything different. We were very much in this headspace of let's just write and write and write and write and write. And if we hated something, we just scrapped it immediately. Like it was not a back and forth of let's try to make something work. If it didn't work, it was done. But Skin and Bones, actually, that what's funny is that technically is the last old song we ever wrote. That song was in a like the demo, the riff. I came up with that riff a long time ago, and the chorus as well. The breakdown was a little different. We kind of had to scramble to rewrite that with the producer we were working with because it didn't work. Like he sent it off to a bunch of people, the breakdown, and he was like, nobody can figure out what time signature this is in. And like
yeah,
tempo is, and I was like, crap. Okay. So he had to like rewrite it 2 days before I went on a trip and send off like the stems. But that is the last old song that we had. Everything else on what we have going on were like completely new ideas, and it was just really fun to be able to really stretch ourselves. And I think we have been.
Yeah, it turned out sick, man. And for like I have Spotify and I have it like pulled up and I know sometimes like numbers can get and like metrics and looking and pretty much every band nowadays has to be like their own marketers and like social media experts, and I'm sure that can kind of get overwhelming too, like posting and scheduling things and looking at, oh, how did this do and how did this do? But it is cool to see, like, as somebody who has Spotify, like that one's got almost 15,000 streams just on Spotify. Um, and like I said, I just know, like, from having Doug on back in the day with Cole Hill, like when he was putting songs out during COVID. Um, when I saw him mention, I was like, it was just so cool to see like somebody else that's in this like genre that we all love. You guys as musicians and me as a podcaster, like with heavy music and metalcore and like I'll just say like alternative rock and metal. Like that whole bucket. It was cool to see somebody else that I knew that was like, yo, this song is this is sick too. Like it was just cool to see that reach somebody else like that. What's that like for you guys when you see the playlists and stuff? Because for people who aren't aware, like I know that at least for Spotify, right, artists like you can see when songs have been added to playlists, like so like one, what is that like for you guys just to see it reach people? And then two, and I know I didn't prep you for this, but are there any like funny playlist names that have popped up that you've seen your songs on that like you guys like texted or laughed about that you're like this is cool that somebody likes it, but this playlist name is hilarious.
Um, Josh, take this one, and I will think about my answer.
Yeah, no, totally. I'll go the latter half first. So the playlist thing, that does get kind of funny. Um, I wish I could see all of them. It's like, so when on Spotify for artists, what's kind of funny is like I have the app pulled up like right now while we're talking because you just made me think about that a little bit more. Um, the you can only see a certain amount, but if you go, it's like showing X amount of playlists. Like you can't see them all. But my two favorite, one is just funny. Like it doesn't make sense, but I'm glad they're enjoying it. And then the other one was just like, oh, okay. Um, I like that name. It's a fun name. The one that the playlist that I which wasn't even a new song. It was the villain was added to. Uh,
Uh,
it was the playlist is called what is it called? Chill Hop Lo-Fi Chill Pop Daily Update. And I'm
oh,
this is not chill lo-fi. I would love to do lo-fi. Like that would be amazing. I'm looking at stuff now, but that was funny to me because it just doesn't make sense. But the one that I really smiled at because I just like the name. The Skin and Bones got added to, and I guess it's still on it, which is crazy. Pop punk pizza party. I was like,
oh yeah.
like I'm okay. I'm down for this. This is cool. It's not a pop punk song, but you guys like it, so why not? Um, but it does get fun seeing like when it updates to go on to the former half of the question. It gets fun just seeing um these playlists that we get added to because we're like, oh, okay. I guess people are liking it. Want other people to hear it. That's great. That's what we want. Um, but the best part for us is that when it's hitting, the playlist ads are great and they help trigger things. So it honestly, with the first release, it triggered the algorithm pretty hard for us in a way that we hadn't. For when I say pretty hard for us, it was just not something we'd experienced with any of our releases. And that, like, now it's hitting Spotify radio, and like that's where a majority of our streams are coming from now, or like a big portion. And then like you see the algorithm, like it says algorithmic playlist, and it's like this percentage, and it's like, whoa, okay. And then there's these other listeners playlists. So it's been really fun because it feels like, hey, finally there's a little bit of notoriety and like people noticing what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And it definitely, I think, stems from that sonic shift we were just talking about, and that the production is a lot better. The songs were just written, the recording process of how we did it was different too. So it's been fun.
Yeah, can you imagine some guy who's just chilling, reading a book at work, whatever, be like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to some lo-fi today," and then all of a sudden, like the villain comes on, which is like, it's got a poppy beginning, but it screams a lot, and it's just like that's interesting to be put on something like that. Um, yeah, it's been honestly just nothing but like amazing and like humbling because, you know, we've been we've been at this for a minute now, and um having to, you know, we released the a season to bloom, and it did all right for the most part. But it was our taste of like what this actually was as a band. And so, you know, coming full circle to where we are now, it's really cool to see like people really enjoying these new songs and like adding them. And we've met different even TikTokers who, requested to play the songs and stuff. And I think it's just been really fun to make those like connections and also just be like, oh, you like our music? That's sick. And we're really, really thankful because we met a lot of really cool people through just the songs that we have out right now.
That's sick, man. Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about and thanks again so much, Bobby and Josh, for taking the time, man. I always love talking with you guys.
Same, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think like on one end it's like there's two ways to look at it. Like I feel like the barrier to entry in terms of like maybe 25 years ago or like what it would cost to produce. And obviously now it's still not cheap, right? To have good production and good mixing and mastering and really that those latter two, like I was just talking with somebody else about that, about like the art that really goes into like the mix and the mastering in addition to the production, right? Like to do it well, it still isn't like cheap, but compared to like if it were like 1996 and you were doing a demo and what it would cost. And then in addition to that, like pre-social media, trying to get your music out there and hopefully maybe the local radio station will give it a spin, or you can get on some shows in your hometown. And I feel like now that's one of the positives, whether it's like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. You can make short form content and put it out there, and you don't know who it's going to reach. So you can reach people faster. So on one end, it's like I think sometimes, like even on the podcast end of things, like I'm kind of a broken record. Sometimes I'm like, man, I always need to be doing more because there's people that I see doing stuff like every day. Um, but it's also like you still want to have fun doing what you're doing and have it not feel like a chore, you know? But yeah, these algorithms, it's weird, man. Like if somebody would have told me when I was like 15 years old that by the time I got to my late 30s, there's going to be this word algorithm and it was basically going to like run society in numerous ways, I'd have been like, what? I'm just trying to get through like topics in pre-calc, man. Like you guys started putting exclamation points in equations and like that's enough for me. Um, I'm a creative brain, man. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys, and the releases that you put out to all seemed like lyrically very personal. Skin and Bones, Afraid, R.I.P. The music videos were all really cool. Afraid like spliced in. It looked like home videos, Bobby, from when you were a little guy. Can you guys go into depth a little bit more about these lyrically, if you don't mind me asking? Because not that you guys didn't get personal before, um, but I just feel like to have these three releases all in a row, like they're pretty emotionally powerful. Like even though, like you said, you got like the heaviness and like the breakdowns and parts of them, but like lyrically, they all felt at least pretty personal as a listener. What's it been like for you, Bobby, to like go to those places and have the comfortability to go to those places? Because like you said, you guys have been doing this for a while with Hollow Wake, and this is you've always kind of worn your heart on your sleeve. But I just thought like those in a row all felt pretty personal.
Yeah, they were definitely um, I would say some of the most personal like lyrics that I've written that's out thus far. And so with like Skin and Bones, um, that song, we like Josh said, we started writing, pun intended, the bones of the song, a while ago, and like literally like 3 or 4, 5 years, something like that. And we just kind of put it in our pockets. But the song, for the most part, was always about the same topic, and it was about a relationship that I was in before Z. It was actually a marriage that I was in before Z, and originally I was angry, and the song was like basically "F you, left me skin and bones" and such. But as time went on, and meeting my wife Z now, and like just growing in my own like mental health and like forgiveness and all that, um, it was interesting to write that song because I still wanted it to be a story aspect of like that relationship, but I didn't want it to be like a big F you. I just wanted it to be like, look how strong I've become because of this situation and what I chose to grow through. And that's why, like, at the end of the song, I made sure to, like, basically say, like, now that I'm stronger, no longer skin and bones, to like flip the script on it. And that was really fun and emotionally impactful for myself because as I was writing it, I was just like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm over it. Like, I'm totally not numb to it necessarily, but just be like, yeah, I accept it, and um, I'm better off, and I hope she's better off, and everything. So that was a really big personal one, and like music video one wise, I do all the music videos as of now, and I know we wanted to show the band rocking out, but I also wanted to tell a story, and so getting um, my two friends, Josh and Casey Palombi, to play the couple, and that's like breaking up, and the relationship is just you know falling to pieces, and I didn't have to show any cheating or any sort of malicious intent to get that point across, but overall that message and that video has really touched a lot of people, which I'm really really thankful for, and then the little secret song that we put out with Skin and Bones, like Heroin, um, has been doing well on its own as well. And that one's about to like really just me wanting to like numb out and not feel any type of emotion. And so, you know, essentially like I don't do drugs like heroin or anything like that. But my cousin, unfortunately, he overdosed a while back, but he was off and on heroin, and one day it just took him. But I was writing in my own experience with like depression, but then also putting myself in the shoes of someone who's like addicted to a really heavy drug that like ultimately took his life. And that was very personal for me to write as well. Not many people know the story behind it, but that's what this kind of platform is for. So um, it was cathartic at the same time to just kind of revisit that whole loss for sure. And you mentioned Afraid. Yeah, so Afraid, it is very personal to me. I met great friends here in Nashville, but when I moved out of like the DC area, I thought the friends that I would have from high school and college would last forever, and they didn't. Um, and so, we talk once in a while, but it's definitely not anything the same. And so, when I say the town has overgrown and the wind just keeps on howling for me to breathe and walk away, is literally me just being accepting like it's not going to be the way it was, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, that was a song that I really just kind of came to the surface very easily. I was kind of in those emotions, and um, when we shot the music video, I wanted to kind of show that like house aspect of, you know, um, there's shots of Josh and Jake in a hallway rocking out, and it looks like the hallway is just not enough room for them to like move around. And so that was intentional. And, um, I wanted to, props to my mom. She was in Florida with my grandma, and she found all these like baby videos of me when I was younger. And she sent me a couple on the phone, and I was like, bring that DVD back, please. And she was like, why is that? And I was like, because I'm gonna do something creative with this. I just don't know what yet. Like, I don't know what yet. And sure enough, I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I need something more to tell a story in Afraid. And yeah, just it really just came together. It was really cool to share that aspect, and even look at my own self as a baby and being like, man, the crap you're gonna have to go through is gonna suck. But you'll be okay, and everything. So just kind of showing that in the music video of like the innocence, and the lyrics literally talking about like having to move away from that innocence, is it was a really good connection. And then yeah, RIP. There, I think it was around the same time. Like no one could meet up. Which I was like, "How are we gonna do this music video?" And Josh was just like, "You got this. like, like have fun." I was just like, "Oh, great. Okay, cool." Um, and so yeah, I just at my workplace, I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna like set up a uh therapist office in the Black Void, representing my mind." And because the song RIP is about like it's not about something being dead and gone. It's more so about digging up a grave of like your past, and like having to resurface a lot of hurt and pain, especially when you go through like therapy, or you're just trying to figure stuff out from your past of, you know, why your inner child is like hurting so much, and why am I reacting this way as like a 30 something year old adult, and being like, that was not mature. Like I'm acting really, really young. And so I wanted to, I wrote RIP and told that story, but also when Josh said like have fun and do the video, I was like, I always had this idea of talking back and forth and doing the split screen and such. But yeah, and originally like Josh's idea for, I don't remember what song it was, but uh he was gonna play the therapist, and I was gonna be like the person, the patient essentially. And I kind of like was inspired by that idea, and no one else could like be around. So I was like, I'm just gonna like set up like different camera angles on a tripod, scoot in all this like furniture, and make a big set as big as I actually wanted to go. And that was a really fun one, but it was really frustrating because not frustrating at the band or anything, more so just like it was a lot of work to do like by myself, and very much showed me like the growth that I have in like cinematography, but also just being like, I hope this looks good because I can't tell. There's no screen. I'm just pressing record, and I'm lip syncing to the screaming part. And when I'm in production or in post production later on, and I'm in front of the computer and cutting up all this stuff, I hope to God it looks good. Like,
It turned out well, man, and thanks for taking me and the listeners through the meaning behind them, because yeah, they all felt really personal. And especially for like Heroin, the secret song too, man. Because I wondered with that one too, like, like you said, I'm like, I feel like Bobby's pretty put together. I don't think he's messing around with that stuff. Um, but
no.
But stuff is like, I knew there was probably either a deeper meaning or a metaphor of some type behind it. And I'm sorry to hear of the darkness that is behind it, and what you went through and what you guys went through as a family, man, with that. But at the same time, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about music, though, is that you have a place to put the negative emotions when so many people struggle with finding an outlet for it that is a positive one, man. So yeah, props to you guys for turning it into something cool that can be kind of like a memorialization, but also hopefully inspiring other people. And like you said, for it being like a secret track when you guys put out Skin and Bones, it's doing well on its own too.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Every song that I've shown Josh, that made it to release, they've all been very like impactful, not only to me but to like others. And I'll be going on a mini tour with Mental Health Songwriters Nights, and um, doing those three songs acoustically, um, and being able to share the story and hopefully connect with people who, you know, my hope is that if they've gone through it, that they're out on the other side. But if they're not, then, I hope it does connect with them in a very meaningful way.
Well, as we get into the home stretch here, fellas, and thanks again so much, Bobby and Josh. I really appreciate the time. As this will be hitting people's ears, it'll be August. And we're recording this like late June, so we're gonna kind of like we're gonna we're gonna time travel a little bit, but July 1st, new song. There's also shows, so we're just gonna manifest that those are awesome. But mid-August, I think it's the 14th, you guys have a show as well. So I don't know how much we can talk about, but I know, and if I have to edit this out, you can let me know. I can do it in post. But I believe from our text thread, August 5th, there's a cool announcement coming. So what can we tell the people about later this summer? Like what's cooking? I was gonna be cheesy and say what's heating up, and just do like a '90s cheesy like what's heating up, but I won't do that. Even
No, please do.
even even though I am a cheese ball. But yeah, so August, and you just kind of mentioned it with the tour with Mental Health Nights, and I remember when Jacqueline and I were messaging, and when she did the podcast a couple months ago, she was talking about taking that on the road. I know Baltimore is one of the dates, but yeah, I'll stop ranting. What's some of the deets you can give me and the listeners here on March 4th?
Okay, so by the time this comes out, you'll have So Cold, which is we just announced yesterday, which is another song. But yeah, we have been working on a full-length album, our album number two, and we have a song called Face This, which will be coming out. I think that is on August 4th. Is that correct, Josh?
Yeah, that we're doing Face This and the album announcement at the same time.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the album has been a long time coming. Josh has, alluded to working with a producer. Um, so it's been a really awesome time to just get all these creative minds in a room and figure out what the next step and where we're going as a band. And you know, literally after releasing A Season to Bloom, Josh and I were like, all right, what's next? And we started writing the album because we knew we wanted a second album. Um, this one, I believe, is 16 tracks. Pretty sure 16 or 15. Um, and yeah, we're stoked on it. It's gonna be a really incredible album. It's titled "Dying to Be Whole." Um, So, and all the songs that you've heard thus far are going to be on it, plus many more.
Yeah, it was fun to do that. Ironically, Bobby said, yeah, what's next? No, it wasn't like that. He had already had like demos written and was sending me demos while I was mastering mixing Season to Bloom. And at one point I did have to say, I was like, Bobby, I have ideas too. Slow down. I I gotta I gotta have you like slow it down a little bit. Give me a month after the album's out, and then let's start. So I think we started I think it was just finalizing Skin and Bones like in December of 2024, and we had that song recorded in January, and I think we had, yeah, that was the only one we have recorded in January, and we sent it off. We were looking for producers in December around the time of recording as well, and we happened upon, it was between two producers. Price point came to be a point, obviously, but we ended up going with a friend who he's now a friend of ours, because of, this whole thing. His name is Drew Bender. He's in the band Unwell, who we opened for last August, with uh TX2. I believe feel like there's a way to say that, but I think it is just TX2.
I think it's TX2,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it is, and the Word Alive, because the Word Alive moved here, and it was like the end of their tour, and we were like, oh yes, this is great, and we hadn't played any of these new songs because we had, I want to say, Bobby, I think we had like four of them back at that time because
Hmm.
the next week or 2 weeks later I was in Iceland,
Yeah.
so on like my on a anniversary trip. So what was funny is we had in February on my birthday trip, we got Skin and Bones back, and we didn't release it for a year. We so we've been basically
Very long year.
yeah, it was we wanted to release it earlier, but the thing was we were looking at all these tracks and we were writing and everything, and we were like, there's so many tracks, but we don't want to like split this up. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. So we wanted all to come out in the same year. We did, I mean, not in the same year. It would have been okay releasing in, 2025, at least maybe one of the tracks, but we wanted music videos. Like we just could not get together, and like the holidays get hard to like get together and stuff, and it was definitely a labor to do that, but we have been working really hard on this for a whole year. um there's So Cold just coming out, had just come out, and then I think around this time that this was coming out, Face This will be out. That, in our opinion, is the, how would you say this, Bobby, the most uh
Grindy song, essentially. Actually, I will talk about a little bit of production because it's really fun. Uh, I learned a lot when we did A Season to Bloom and all the reimagines and stuff. And I was like, I was playing around with like synth libraries and I'm like, yeah, nothing's really hitting. Like Josh gave me this guitar riff and I was like, this is sick, but like it needs something special. And so I just started listening to like animal noises. And I stumbled upon a penguin who was basically like just I don't know about choking, but like gasping for air. And I was like, hold on, let's see something. And I chopped it up and I made it like its own synth. And yeah, there's a like a penguin in Face This. And so it's definitely the most experimental song we have, but also probably like the most like I wouldn't say grind core necessarily, but like very, very heavy in that sense. So
yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited for it, man. And shout out to Unwell. They came on my radar like I think they did an EP back in like 2021, and they're from Michigan, if my memory serves me right. So it was cool, like for them, to see somebody from the Midwest. Like it always makes me happy. Like even though I have nothing to do with their success, like just from the fact, like, hey, we're from the same area. But I can't remember if I heard their cover of Fast Car first. And I just thought that that was such a cool take on just such an awesome song. And then I listened to their EP, and I was like, damn, like there's some really like, you know, awesome moments on here, and vulnerability. And so it's been cool to see their trajectory. So that's sick that you guys were able to link up and, you know, take your journey with Hollowake in production, man. So I can't wait, man. I'm excited to hear the whole thing, dudes.
Yeah, we're excited for people to hear it too. It's kind of funny we were doing it, and so Drew actually did the he did the reworks from the Upside of Hell and
Hmm.
Meadows. So it's I think he's done a total of like 20 tracks with us. So we're pretty happy with that. Shout out to Drew. He's amazing producer. If I remember correctly, he worked with like Joey Sturgis for a while and like came up from that House of Art producers. So he's doing really well. Um, it's kind of funny if you look at the track listing. So the way we set it up, like it wasn't meant to be a concept album, but it ended up becoming that with the track listing. So when you go
Hmm.
down and read it, it's like kind of telling a little bit of a story, but it's also telling a personal journey for Bobby. And then I think I did the lyrics with Bobby. Like I had a majority of them for what was it, one or two of them? I can't remember. I know better or the one. I'm not gonna spoil that one. Um,
Yes,
I
that
don't.
one.
That was
There's at least two I think that you brought lyrics to, and that we like workshop together. But yeah, I think there was at least two.
yeah. I think we did like 8 hours in the studio on that one specifically. I think you know the one I'm talking about. That was,
I do.
but that's like in my opinion, our most radio song, and that's saying a lot with Afraid because to me, Afraid is kind of radio-ish. Like it has a radio aspect to it, but we're excited. It's been a long year, almost 2 years. Finish line.
Yeah. You mentioned this earlier with like being an artist is now like being your own marketing team and like I'm thankful that I have work in marketing, so I know a lot of little tricks and things too. But you know, we really focused on how well we wanted to be perceived as like a band with this album, and then as we like kept releasing the songs and everything, we were like, we got to have the music videos to go along with them, and you know, I volunteer to do them, and it's been a journey. But I'm also like the other like last month, I was like, man, I'm getting like no pun intended because it's not about that, but it's like I'm getting burnt out like completely, and so I had to like take a mini mental break because you know you make something, you post it, and like people like it and they talk about it and you see them sharing and stuff, but like when it gets to the point where that is like it's still exciting, but it's not like it's almost like a relief of like, oh, it's finally out. But then right back into the gate, you have to like do the next stuff. So this has been a lot of like my time, my mental, I wouldn't say stability, but my mental like rubber bandness. Um, and you know, and Josh can attest to that too. So we're really stoked on it. It's a huge project for all of us, and you know, Matt, our drummer, joining beginning of the year, pretty sure. You know, he's been incredible learning the songs because you know he himself was not the person or the drummer to uh, write to these songs along with myself. But he's killing it, and he did, you know, Meadows and Burnt Out reworked, like those are him, and I can't wait to see like what else he can bring writing wise. Um, but as of right now, we're really like just pushing this album and getting a lot of cool shows in the mix and a lot of cool opportunities that we're really just really stoked on and couldn't be happier.
I'm pumped for you guys, man. And I love me a good concept album. So, I mean, I think we're all around the same age and like coming from the days of getting the CD, putting it in the Walkman, going through the liner notes, reading the lyrics, open up the booklet. After you get that crazy little sticker off, that was like the hardest thing in the world. Like
Oh, this sucked.
you never had the right fingernail or the right scissor, and then like when you finally get it, like it was almost like oddly satisfying if you got like that one long strip off the top and you're like, cool, I can just like slide the whole CD out now. But it almost never worked out that way. Or you'd get the wrapper off and then you still had like the fold long sticker over the top that had like the album name and the artist when you would like pull it
Oh
out.
yeah, and you try to like I mean I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit and then I'm just gonna like open it and hope to God it doesn't like break.
Yeah, those were, I don't know who like decided like the best way to package CDs back in the day would be like akin to a Chinese finger trap, but that's essentially what it was. But in any
Yeah.
event, uh, thank God that vinyl is coming back. Moment of silence for CDs. I still have a collection of them that I'll never get rid of. The Case Logics will forever be in the trunk of my car because it's a bygone era that sometimes I miss. But I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited to see like the artwork and everything. Like I'm a nerd for all that stuff. But I don't want to keep yous. I could talk to you for like 3 hours. You guys know you're welcome here anytime. But thank you so much for diving into the lyrics and diving into the remixed and reworked and remastered reimagined versions of songs that you guys have done, like positive vibes. I know it can be a grind with the promotion part of it and kind of getting stuck in the weeds sometimes with that. Like I get it, just even podcasting. Like I said, I always feel like I gotta be doing more. And I think that's one of
Hmm.
the facts of like social media is like the comparison game or like, looking at getting too caught up in numbers and stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, it still needs to be about like whatever the message is behind doing, if you're making the art, if you're doing a podcast, like, you know, the energy to create and the the source that comes from, and the meaning behind it is like the most important thing, and everything else is kind of like an extension of that. So yeah, man, I relate to that, but to put a positive end to this, man. Like, yeah, I'm really really stoked for you guys too, dudes. I can't wait. I mean, I'm not wishing away the next few months. Like, you know, don't wish your life away, right? But yeah, I'm gonna manifest that these shows go well, that these next singles that you guys got coming out to then go well, that the Mental Health Songwriters Nights tour, taking the show on the road goes well, and just yeah, positive vibes all the way around. But let the people know where they can find you if they're new to Hollow Wake, man.
Yeah. If you like any of our stuff, we're on Spotify, Apple, all of the music streaming platforms under Hollow Wake. Social media is at We Are Hollow Wake. And then we also have a website, which is hollowwake.com. And if you want to support us, we have awesome merch on there. And it just goes back to paying for all the other stuff that we've had to pay for. And so we can, you know, create more awesome stuff. And yeah, we appreciate your listeners. We appreciate our listeners. And it's always an awesome time to be on your podcast. And I've seen, the guests that you've had on here, and I'm really stoked for you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time and having us, and to even end on a more positive note, because I know this will be out and it'll be announced by then. We are gonna finally have our debut headliner show. It is booked, the bands are booked, the venue's secured, and that is Labor Day at Hit
And
Nashville.
go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a Labor Day Hit Parader in Nashville.
And it is 100% free show.
Let's go, man. That's so exciting. That's so awesome. Congrats, man. Getting the
Thank
headline
you.
gig, that is sick, man. It's well deserved. You guys have been grinding for a while. Like you said, you guys have had some awesome shows. Um, I try to get out to as many as I can, man. So I'm gonna circle the calendar for that one because I'd be sick to come out for that.
Yeah, definitely come out. It's free. Obviously, it's also the as of right now, as it stands, the first and only time we will be playing a season to Bloom in its entirety.
Yes.
Sick. Well, Josh, Bobby, this is awesome. I appreciate the kind words as well, man. Like it's life is a million little moments, man, and you try to hopefully leave people, places, and things better than where you found them. So, if I can make somebody laugh or try to use my little corner of the world to, help put people on the dope music and let them know they're not alone out there. I'm gonna keep doing it. Well, dudes, this has been awesome. Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Go enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll be in touch, bros. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, dude.